Matthew 12 and verse 40 is a powerful verse, and if broken down correctly, can show when a day starts, when Yahusha rose, and the observance of Easter Sunday has nothing to do with his death.
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Before we start, 3 things must be followed in order to find the truth. First, the definitions of heart and earth must match Scripture. Strong's H3820, lave means inner man, mind, will, heart, understanding, inner part, and midst of something. The letter bet means house or tent as well as family. For example, the house of Jacob, or Israel. The word earth in Hebrew means land, country, region, or nation. And if you add the 2 words together you get, Jerusalem is the heart of the earth. Ezekiel 5 verse 5 confirms this.
This is what the sovereign Lord says. This is Jerusalem, which I have set in the center of the nations with countries all around her.
Plus, if you look up Deuteronomy 4 and 12, and Isaiah 19 and verse 19, you will find midst and heart can sometimes mean the same thing. This would make logic sense, and fit Scripture when Yahusha says he has to go to Jerusalem to die.
When they came together in Galilee, he said to them,
The Son of Man is going to be delivered over to human hands. He will be killed, and on the 3rd day he will be raised to life.
From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the 3rd day be raised to life.
As you can see and read, the phrase the heart of the earth does not mean the grave, but when Yahusha is captured by sinful men, similar to Jonah being captured by the whale or fish. Certainly, Yahusha died, and was speaking of his own death and burial to some extent, but captivity seems to be the general idea in this analogy. It's also noteworthy that belly of the whale or belly of the beast are common metaphors today, and neither imply the grave. If you look in the Collins Dictionary, generally it means being in the middle of a very bad situation or a dangerous place. You can be in the belly of the beast if you go into the central command of enemy headquarters. Now if we compare Jonah and Yahusha, we can see the truth.
From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord his God. He said,
In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the deep, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me, the deep surrounded me, seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down, the earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord, my God, brought my life up from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols forfeit God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say salvation comes from the Lord.
A lot of people overlook Luke the 24th chapter when trying to figure out if Yahusha was in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. If we start and read Luke 24 and verse 13, the road to Emmaus, we can see the truth 3 days in the grave doesn't fit Scripture, and we shouldn't try to make it fit.
What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another, as ye walk and are sad?
Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known of the things which are come to pass there in these days?
What things?
Concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him up to be condemned to death and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the 3rd day since these things were done. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. When they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so as the women had said. But him they saw not.
And the one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering said unto him, Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days? And he said unto them, What things? And they said unto him, Concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the 3rd day since these things were done.
As you heard and seen, Yahusha 3 days and 3 nights matched Jonah. Yahusha was captured into the hands of sinners willfully, and Jonah captured by the whale, willfully. This is the start of it, and by 3rd day he rose up. This matches Scripture and confirms Luke chapter 24. Night 1 is when Yahusha is captured in the hands of sinners. Day 1 is when Yahusha was given over to Pontius Pilate by the chief priests and the rulers of Jerusalem. He was beaten, mocked, and crucified on a tree. Night 2, Yahusha was buried in a tomb. Day 2, Yahusha rested in the tomb, the Sabbath day. Notice even in death Yahusha kept the Sabbath day, but that's another story for another time. Night 3, Yahusha resting in tomb. Day 3, Yahusha has risen. Okay, many of you are going to disagree, because a lot of us believe a day starts in the evening/night. They fail to understand Yah made a day season and a night season, and the evening is the end of the day season. But let us investigate closely to see what I am saying is true. We must check all things including me, to see if we correctly dividing the word of truth. We are going to take a look at Mark, Luke, Matthew, and John's accounts of the resurrection. This will show us a day starts at dawn, and not the night. Let's read Matthew 28:1. Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. As you can see, the first day began to dawn, but it is not clear if it is the morning, because sometime in Scripture dawn can mean when the sun is going down. Let us go to Luke next. Luke 24 and verse 1. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. In Luke, we read, the first day of the week is upon them, and it is early in the morning. Something new is added, they brought spices which they prepared. Let us see what Mark said about this subject. Mark 16 verses 1 and 2 reads, And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James, and Salome, had bought sweet spices, that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. As you read here, and add from the Luke and Matthew, that they went to the tomb in the morning the rising of the sun. Notice the spices are mentioned also in Mark. This time it goes into more details they bought them after the Sabbath. And if you remember Ezekiel 46 and verses 1 to 3, the Sabbath is over in the evening, so Mary brought spices after the Sabbath, and early in the morning brought them to the tomb. Now the nail in the coffin is John. It's no way around his version of the resurrection. John 20 verse 1 reads, "The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre." As you read in John 20 verse 1 that it was early and the first day cometh, and when you go down 18 verses look what is said. John 20 verse 19, "Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst, and saith unto them, Peace be unto you." If we add all four accounts, we can piece the truth. Mary and the others went to the tomb, very early in the morning at the rising of the sun, to anoint Yahusha with the spices they bought and prepared it after the Sabbath day. This matches scripture and sheds light that Easter has nothing to do with his resurrection because they base it on 3 days in the grave. This is David from Chasing the Light. I hope this helped. Shalom.